Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo, this is 3 Buck Theater, and this is my review, my what I think, of the Orville, Episode 5, Krill. Now, I know I say this pretty much every week, but I just want to reinforce this point. This show continues to get better. I have had a very long week traveling and doing YouTube-related stuff in Los Angeles, and all I wanted to do tonight was come back to my hotel room and watch the Orville. And I did, and I'm very happy because it was another very, very, very good episode that once again discusses the quandary, the moral quandary of what to do when you are tasked with something and there is an element that you did not expect, that you don't want to lower yourself to that level. And then we will talk about that. So this episode is, well, all about the Krill, the race we haven't spent a lot of time with ever since the pilot episode. I mean, they've popped up a couple times, they've been defeated a couple times, but we haven't really gotten a lot out of them yet in terms of being a formidable adversary for not only the Orville, its crew, but the Union itself. And this time around, well, Ed and team end up defending a planet, a colony, from a Krill destroyer. They end up taking the thing out by basically riding around in the upper atmosphere to create a smoke screen, blinding it, and then basically dropping every torpedo they have on it, obliterating it to smithereens, with one exception. That, well, a shuttle has somehow miraculously not been damaged. Which I find to be interesting, that out of the entire ship being destroyed, a single shuttle was not damaged. But that's okay. It moves the plot forward. It's fine by me. So they end up, teaming up with another Union ship. I think, I don't know the class. They didn't say what it was. But they are greeted by a commander. This played by Kelly Hu. She played Lady Deathstrike in X-Men 2. She was also in Arrow. She basically says that Ed and Gordon have to dress up as the Krill to take the shuttle to a Krill ship in order to steal an Akana, or to get their hands on the Akana, which essentially is their holy Bible. The Krill, and this is an interesting point that was made about religion and society. Whereas Earth, at least in the views of Gene Roddenberry, the further it was technologically speaking, the further it grew there, the less it relied on religion. Whereas in the Krill, it's the exact opposite. The more technologically advanced they became, the more virtuous they became, the more hardcore and indoctrinated they became. And as a result of that, they follow the Akana, their Bible. And the Union wants to get their hand on the Bible in order to process it, to understand it, to translate it, and then maybe use it as a bridge for peace. All in all, a very noble mission, one that is, dangerous, it's treacherous, it might be wrought with fears of the unknown, but ultimately its goal is to find a way to unite the people. So Ed and Gordon use their emitters to basically, well, look like the Krill, and they get on the ship and they're greeted by the captain and the high priest, and when asked their names, instead of saying something like Haagen-Dazs or Lockenstein, which they had previously discussed on the ship over, the first thing that Ed says is Chase and Devin. Or Chris and Devin, sorry, Chris and Devin. And they're like very strange names, but then no one ever questioned that. No one ever questioned their vernacular. No one ever questioned how they speak, their accents, how they emoted anything. I thought that was kind of funny. It's like they are playing up kind of the buddy cop role situation, but they never actually, no one ever questioned it. They just maybe assumed, well, one ship is different than another ship, and maybe that's what it is. With the exception of, I don't say Salazar, whatever his name is, the priest. He's suspicious of them, especially when he catches them in the church trying to take pictures of the Akana. He doesn't know they're trying to take pictures of the Akana, but he suspects something is up, so he wants a guard placed in front of the church to make sure that they don't do anything funny. However, they are already in there when the guard shows up, and they're able to escape while getting most of the book because their emitters died, and they had to go and figure out what happened there. And this is when they discover that there is basically a neutron bomb that the ship is equipped with that could well, it could eliminate a planet. It could kill millions of people, essentially. And they decide that they have, at that point, that their mission should change, and they should, in fact, destroy the neutron bomb by basically reverse engineering it to explode on the ship, therefore taking out the threat and making sure that there is no one else that's going to be killed. This, of course, has a bit of a snag in it and comes to the moral quandary I talked about when Ed discovers that there are tons of children on board. In fact, the sister of one of the men, that the Krill who were killed on the ship they fought in the beginning, and Ed had a bit of a, bit of chemistry. His name was like Talitha, I think. They had a bit of chemistry there. And, he sees the kids, and they're asking questions about humans. Do humans have souls? Where do they come from? Things like that. Inquiring minds of children want to know, all that jazz. And Ed can't kill him. He can't kill the kids. So they can't destroy the ship. So how do they stop this massacre from happening? Because they find out that they're going to go to a colony, and or another planet, and they're going to basically eviscerate a continent in just a matter of minutes with this bomb. And so Gordon and Ed have to find a way to stop it. Gordon is somewhat on board with actually eliminating everyone, including the children, not really seeing much of a problem. Not to say that he is trying to kill them, but he understands what's at stake. And then Ed realizes that the Krill are essentially born in darkness. Gordon puts it, basically they're vampires. And so they decide to crank up the UV lights on the ship in order to basically fry everybody, while also shorting out all of the lights in the classroom, therefore saving the kids. Now, when they get everything all prepped and ready to go, well, Gordon is caught by the High Priest, who discovers that he is in fact a human. Earlier on in the episode, when they went to service, they discovered that they had caught another human. They had decapitated the human, and their service was to basically, just destroy the human's skull by stabbing it repeatedly with a knife. So they're kind of brutal. They're kind of bloody when it comes to dealing with the humans, right? Or any kind of outsider, so to speak, because these guys, technically lead by, they don't, they respect someone based upon their sword, not their soul, so to speak. They don't view humans as having souls, so to them, it's not killing humans, it's basically just taking what they already believe to be theirs through their conquests. I'm just going to come right out and say it. This has more to do with Islam than it does to do with any other religion out there. Seth MacFarlane is a devout atheist. Gene Roddenberry, as far as I know, is an atheist. The tenets of Star Trek are founded on atheism, at least moving past the concept of needing religion once we hit the heavens. And that's kind of where this is whole based around. You have, essentially a barbaric, alien species that very much clings to their religious rhetoric, views outsiders as infidels, and, stabs them repeatedly with knives and stuff. And then in the process of this, Gordon gets stabbed in the leg, and he cries out and says, "That's a new leg." I love that there's a reference back to the previous episode where Isaac, took his leg off in a prank. I love that little throwback to the previous episode. That to me was fantastic. And they end up, the alarm goes off, or the buzzer goes off, the lights flicker on, and burns everyone on the ship to a crisp, with the exception of the children and Talitha. Now they end up, taking the ship back to the Orville. The Orville then transports the ship to Union space. The children have had arrangements to send back home, and Talitha's sitting there, going to talk to Ed, or Ed comes to talk to her. Now I thought, just because I thought, that at this point in time, because I liked the chemistry of this character with Ed, I liked her character. I thought she was interesting. I'd like to know more about her and the Krill, and maybe this would be like a 7 of 9 scenario, right, where we would get this female, I don't know if she's an officer, but this female crewman would join the Federation, or join the Union and come on the ship. But that's not what happens at all. In fact, the ending is it's sad. It's another one of those sad, there's no winner here scenarios, and that's something that's been played out a couple times now, which is no happy ending. And as much as TV and movies have taught us to love happy endings, this show is shying away from them And I find that to be very fascinating. I find that to be very interesting. So essentially what happens is Ed says, look, like, I wasn't going to kill children. They're not my enemy. And she says, what do you think they're going to do, or they're going to be after this? After you killed everyone on the ship, you killed the entire crew. She's like, they will be your enemy. They will be. And that is something that Ed is going to have to live with. So we might get ourselves essentially a Kill Bill Volume 3 scenario going on here, where down the road, these children might grow up and have such a hatred for humanity, for humans, for killing everyone on their ship, because that's what they're going to be indoctrinated into. That's how they're going to be raised. You are the survivors of the human insurrection. The infidels stormed the ship. They killed the crew, but they spared you so you could then spread fear of the humans. That's what's going to happen. And man, that's sad. That is sad, because it shows you precisely how far religious indoctrination will go. It shows you how far these kind of things can go. And as a result of that, we get more instances of battles with the Krill. And what I like about the Orville is that it definitely runs parallel to elements of our own society. And it's very reminiscent of what Gene Roddenberry did with the original series, and I do believe the Next Generation. So this, to me, again, every week, or 5 weeks in, every week this show has continuously echoed Roddenberry, more so than Star Trek Discovery. And even though I'm enjoying Star Trek Discovery, and I fully expect comments about that below, I love the Orville. I truly love the show. I think McFarlane has got a hit on his hands. I think Fox would be stupid to cancel it. And I will say this, though, what I love about this show now is that they've hit their voice, for one. They've hit their stride 5 episodes in, which is insane. But their cold opens are hysterical, right? So this week it was Gordon, it was Alara, it was Bortus and Isaac, and Kevin and Lamar, and so they're sitting in the cafeteria basically, and talk to Bortus, and Bortus is like, oh yeah, I can kind of eat whatever, because he eats wasabi. And then they go, well, wait, well, here, can you eat this napkin? And he eats part of the napkin. And then Gordon runs up and gets a cactus and has him eat the cactus. And then Alara hands him a glass, and he eats the glass, because Mocklin indigestion can handle quite a bit. And they were sitting like, oh, this is going to be our new thing. Like, it was a good bonding moment, I felt the crew, non-Kelly, non-Ed, were bonding together, and I just really enjoyed that, actually. I felt that was a nice way for these guys to connect, and then us as the audience to connect to their personalities, because in that moment, all of their personalities were exemplified. My favorite bit, though, is how it started off, because it ties back a couple episodes earlier, where they were on that spaceship that also doubled as kind of like the Old West, frontier world sort of thing. And Kelly and Alara are talking, and Alara's talking about her boyfriend, who is having trouble dealing with the fact that she can, she's 10 times stronger than humans, and she and him ended up breaking up. And so she's talking about that as that being a problem of her strength versus a human strength. And then Isaac says, oh, I'm fascinated by this. I would, be willing to try sex with you, basically, just for the sake of understanding it, so he can then document it and send it home to his species. And I just like her response of like, no, I'm not. I'm trying to work on myself here. I'm trying to spend some time with me, which I really enjoyed that, because that was a typical response you would expect. But again, it shows you that Isaac is trying to learn, he's trying to understand, and she's also trying to find love. And clearly it's not going to work out, but it was a sweet thing for him to say, essentially. It's so how I view it. It was a sweet thing of like, if you're looking for someone to give you the O face, I can sacrifice that. So this is another top tier episode. I can't wait for next week. I'm really excited for next week. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this episode was as good as last week? Do you think this episode gave us a bit more about the Krill? Was that good? Was that bad? Do you want more? Do you want less? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.